Good morning, y'all. My name is Rick, and I'm here to talk to you today about banned books. So I have four different banned books, frequently banned books from different authors, and they're different from different genres too. So let me start with an introduction question and ask you all, why do you think books are banned? I want you to give me a few words, a few answers why you think books are banned. All right, violence, sex, sex, and sex too. Okay, so violence and sex, those are two good answers. Also, we can add profanity, we can add sexual dialogue, we can also do some racially charged dialogue too. So those are some big reasons. But there's also other reasons too, and we'll get to that later. So for the first book I'm going to show you all, this is our fantasy book. And it's one that a lot of people know, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. It's definitely, a lot of people are shocked to know that this is a frequently banned book. They don't understand. They think it's, fun for kids and teens. But yes, it's one of the most frequently banned books. And it's one of the great books, too, one of the great young adult fantasies. You look at books before this book came out, especially young adult books, and you don't see as much fantasy. But after this book came out, you see tons of fantasy. So you see the effect this book had on the fantasy genre for young adults. It's huge, humongous. I think the great thing about this book is its imagination, its world building. I love Hogwarts Castle, Diagon Alley. The characters, all those things just add to the amazingness of this book, and that's why I think it's so popular. The whole series is so popular. So I'm gonna start with a little excerpt from this book. This is the part where Harry gets picked to join which group he's gonna pick. He has to join a group, and it's one of my favorite parts of the book. Harry gripped the edges of the stool and thought, "Not Slytherin, not Slytherin." "Not Slytherin, huh?" said the small voice. It's actually a hat that's talking to him. "Are you sure? You could be great, you know. It's all here in your head, and Slytherin will help you on the way to greatness. No doubt about that? No? Well, if you're sure, better be Gryffindor." Harry heard the hat shout the last words of the whole hall. He took off the hat and walked shakily toward the Gryffindor table. And that was a great choice. So why has this book been banned? Well, some people back in the early 2000s, late 90s, thought it was teaching witchcraft to kids because of the magic, and particularly Wiccan, which is like a witchcraft religion. And some of the parents were very upset with that. They thought, the kids were learning bad things. And also, because public schools can't teach religion, they said that they were teaching religion, witchcraft, by teaching this book in school. So I actually think that's ridiculous, because this book is about the greater good. Hogwarts is about the greater good. They have the defense against the arts, the defense against the dark teacher. So it's Hogwarts is about fighting evil magic. So it's not about hurting others. So that's why I think that argument is ridiculous. All right, now we're moving on to historical nonfiction book. This is called Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. And this is a great history book. It takes place during World War II. Anne Frank and her family are Jewish, and they're trying to escape Nazi persecution. Takes place from 1942 to 1944. They have to go in hiding from the Nazis in Amsterdam. And you think about this. Imagine living in a small attic or a small place for 2 whole years. You can't go outside. You can't see your friends. That's what they had to go through. And I'm not going to give away the ending, because I think even if you know the ending or not, you could still enjoy this book. It's a great book, and it shows exactly what they went through, and you learn a lot about World War II and about what this family had to go through. And I highly recommend it. And, instead of reading from a textbook, you read this book. And a lot of people say, well, why this book is banned? Why y'all think it's banned? Nazi violence? Yeah, that's a good answer. Actually, that's not true. It's banned because of its sexual dialogue. And I'm going to read something real quick. All right, so they're in the hiding place, Anne and Peter, and they're looking at the cat. So they say, all right, so hello, do you want to see him? He didn't make any lengthy preparations, but picked up the animal, turned him over on his back, deftly held his head and paws together, and the lesson began. Those are the male organs. These are just a few stray hairs, and that is his bottom. The cat did another half turn and was standing on his white socks once more. If any other boy had shown me the male organs, I would never have looked at him again. But Peter went on talking quite normally on what is otherwise such a painful subject, without meaning anything unpleasant. And there's a lot of scenes. There's a lot of scenes throughout that book, like that. Throughout the book, it's kind of sexually explicit scenes, but it's told from it's told from a view of innocence. So that's why I don't find them offensive. But Anne does talk about her body, about menstruation, and some other sexual topics. But I still don't find it offensive because it's told through eyes of innocence, and it shows, it's a realistic portrayal of a teen growing up in extraordinary, difficult circumstances. So I highly recommend this book, and this book should not have been banned at all. All right, moving on to the next book. This is our science fiction book, banned book. It's called The Hunger Game by Suzanne Collins. And it's about, it takes place in the future, and there's 12 districts, and the capital rules them. The districts don't have power, but the capital does. And the capital requires each child from a district to fight each other and to kill each other. It's called The Hunger Games. Okay, so you can see why this book has been banned. It's been banned because of violence. And before I go any further, as you know, this book has a movie series. I want to ask y'all a quick question. Why do you think it's better to read the book before you watch the movie? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, you don't want to spoil the plot. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I highly recommend that you read a book first before you watch a movie, because you can really spoil the plot and it'll make you lazier, Reading a book takes energy, but you become more literate as you read the book, and literacy goes a long way with success. And I think you'll enjoy the movie a lot more by reading the book first. So like I said, this book was banned because of violence. So let's read an excerpt from this book. She carelessly wipes away the blood from my wound with her jacket sleeve. For a moment, she surveys my face, tilting it from side to side as if it's a block of wood, and she's deciding exactly what pattern to carve it in. I attempt to bite her hand, but she grabs the hair on the top of my head, forcing me back to the ground. I think, she almost purrs, we'll start with your mouth. I clamp my teeth together as she teasingly traces the outline of my lips with the tip of the blade. Ooh. So Katniss Everdeen, who's the main character, is in a whole lot of trouble, right? Katniss Everdeen is a great female hero. And that's one of the great things about the Hunger Games, is I really feel like it's put emphasis on female heroes, especially in science fiction and fantasy. And a lot of books after the Hunger Games have had more female heroes, a lot of fantasy books. So why do you think, real quick, it's important to have female heroes besides male heroes? Okay, diversity. I agree. That's a great answer. Diversity. It adds diversity to the books, and it makes the audience more diverse as well. All right, the last book we're going to look at is realistic fiction, meaning it's about real characters and people. This book is called The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. Its main character is an Indian called Junior. Also, his name's Arnold Spirit. He lives on a reservation, a very poor reservation. This book is about poverty, and it's about trying to escape poverty to get something better in your life. And that's why I love this book. There's a lot of conflict between Junior wanting to stay on his very poor reservation and then trying to get higher in life, trying to go to get more opportunities, more for jobs and for learning and for information. And there's a lot of conflict between the two, and that's what makes this book so interesting. This book also has some very offensive material in it. Yes, it has sex talk, it has profanity, but the worst thing it has is some racially charged and homophobic language that I actually found offensive. I think it could actually have done out without some of that, but that was for the editor to choose. But I still, though, enjoy this book. If you can get past that, I enjoy this book because of its lesson that it teaches. And one of the great things about this book is it's like a graphic novel. We're going to look at this real quick. Junior has trouble getting to school because of his mobility issues. No gas money, he has to hitchhike. Gas money, but the car's not running, he has to hitchhike. 22 miles, by the way. Dad gives him a ride. The car breaks down 1 mile. He has to walk to school. He's 30 minutes late. Then Mom gives him a ride because Dad has a hangover. And then on Friday, no gas money. He's got to walk home 22 miles. So you can see right there that he's facing a lot of problems with money, with poverty, things like that, mobility. Let's look. I want to read one quick but very funny excerpt. I realized that sure, I was a Spokane Indian. I belonged to that tribe, but I also belonged to the tribe of American immigrants, and to the tribe of basketball players, and to the tribe of bookworms, and to the tribe of cartoonists, and to the tribe of chronic masturbators, and to the tribe of teenage boys, and the tribe of small town kids, and the tribe of Pacific Northwesterns, and the tribe of tortilla chips and salsa lovers, and the tribe of poverty, and the tribe of funeral goers, and the tribe of the beloved sons, and the tribe of boys who really miss their best friends. It was a huge realization, and that's when I knew that I was going to be okay. All right, one quick wrap-up question I want to ask y'all. Why do you think censorship is bad? Why does it have a negative effect on things? What do y'all think? All right, prevents people from reading books. Prevents people from reading something that they like. Yeah, I agree on that. I think censorship is bad because it prevents people from receiving information. I agree. If somebody doesn't want to read a book because it's offensive, they have every right not to read that book. Or if a parent doesn't want them to read the book, then they don't have to read that book. But banning the book prevents maybe somebody else who wants to read that book from reading that book, because not everybody finds the same thing offensive. I think it's important that we have a free flow of information and that we don't prevent somebody from reading a book because it's offensive. Okay, so banning a book I think has a lot of negative qualities. Well, I enjoyed talking to y'all today. Thank you all for listening.